Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something important I want to discuss before we. Never mind.
And we are live. This is the Irish Podcast, episode 14. You know who I am. I am the Titanfall Princess, and this is the Irish Podcast. But enough for me. Panel, introduce yourself. We're going to start with the permanent member, which is Quarter Rock. Introduce yourself.
Oh, shit, that ain't it. There we go. That much better. You know that sound. It's your boy Porter Rock 77, host of the 60 Waves No Like podcast. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Titanfall is great to be back. I love these Fridays podcasts. It's awesome. I can't wait to get down. She's keeping a secret on what topics we're going to talk about, so I think it's going to be exciting. Hey, I'm glad to hear, and for everybody else, I'm glad you're all here. Let's get it kicking. And hey, let Zaire know that's my fucking sound. Go beat him up on Twitter, wherever. Harass it. If you see him on the street, be like, yo, Zaire, that's Porter Rock sound. Stop sweating him. All right.
And we got one of our other guests that came back again, which is Sinister.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? That's happening. This is Sinister, and glad to be back on one of your podcasts. I know it's been a while, but I'm just interested in talking about gaming and other things.
Sounds good. Last but not least, we've got Craig Harris and his Pet Rocks.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thank you, Princess, for the invite again. Always good to be back here with you and Porter Rock and Mr. Sinister right here. And I got my 2 Pet Rocks right here keeping me company and a glass of bourbon.
Ooh, what kind of bourbon?
Oh, yeah, we got enough shots for everybody.
Yeah, Woodford Reserve. I'm in Kentucky, son.
Hey, I'm in Kentucky too.
Oh, he got that Kentucky bourbon. Uh-oh.
Yo, you like bourbon? You got to try Larceny. Oh, my God.
All right. Yeah, I will.
Look for a brand called Larceny. Oh, man. Anyway, this is going to be the alcohol podcast.
Yeah, right.
Podcast.
All right. My first subject, I put this up first because when I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? They just came out, if you guys didn't see the news today, with a $30,000 PC. What are your thoughts on that, guys? $30,000 PC.
I mean, hot damn. I was like, what kind of horsepower is under that hood? Just to cost that much.
I just wanted to bring it up because I know somebody else is going to bring it up, on another podcast or whatever. But I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Now, I understand you need some power, but for me, that would be more for a high-end business system or something like that. But they say it's for both business and gaming.
Wow.
Yeah, but who has that kind of money unless you're rich or make 6 figures?
That's what I'm saying. But I just had to put that out there because when I saw that, I was like, what? Huh?
Yeah, no, I thought that $20,000 TV set at Best Buy was crazy, but gee whiz.
I remember that one.
See? Yeah, it's some Magnolia TV that they got. It's 88-inch screen Samsung. But yeah, you're right. $30,000, I couldn't do it. I don't care if it came with Star Citizen for life. I can't do $30,000.
I mean, shit.
I mean, that's a huge down payment on a house.
Exactly.
That's like 2 automobiles if you just get a decent automobile, like for $15,000 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, for a PC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying people don't have that kind of money unless you own a business, you're a millionaire, or you make 6 figures.
Exactly.
Wow.
But I just wanted to touch on that because I always try to bring a little PC news in, but that was the main thing I saw today, and I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute. First it was, what is it? What was it? A $15,000 or $18,000 one. Now it is a $30,000. Come on, guys. That's crazy.
Now, does that come with the chair or something like that, Princess? Or because sometimes they come with special chairs and speakers and all that stuff.
Not that I saw.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
The system by itself. I was like, dang, for 30 G's. Dang.
I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, now we'll get on to our second subject. Okay, it's been almost a year now. Talk about Scorpio. Scorpio this, Scorpio that. And we know that there are certain podcasts out there that cover the Scorpio, every week, maybe 3 and 4 times a week. Okay. You even have some people calling the PlayStation Pro a failure and saying that the Scorpio is going to destroy it. And that all these high hopes for Scorpio. And they have all these corporate slaves on Twitter. One of the dumbest things that I heard them say, though, is that there's no need for the PS4 Pro. You have a regular PS4. But somehow, they have a need for a Scorpio. At the end of the day, I think both the Pro and the Scorpio are just consoles bringing a 4K experience. That's all it is. But the difference is between the two is Sony is giving you the 4K experience, and listen to this, with games to play. Sony is sticking to the tradition. Okay, Microsoft is boasting about features, not games. Okay. What are your thoughts about the Scorpio, and are you sick of hearing about the talk? Oh, before you guys answer that, here's the other thing that was said, which actually was crazy. You know how these people are, boasting about, Scorpio and all this other shit, but they're also talking about PlayStation with the checkerboard, right? They're checkerboard and they're doing this, they're not. Well, Microsoft is doing the same thing. Okay, so let's keep it real, guys. So what are your thoughts on both those items? Who wants to start?
All right, I'll go first.
With the whole Scorpio thing. So that the whole
narrative for Scorpios that started from June was based off unrealistic expectation of what the Xbox community had. They were expecting an affordable, like $400, and something that was tremendous. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. And now after the white paper, it's still more powerful. But now to make that Scorpio look good, they're saying, well, it's still more powerful than the Pro. My reply was, well, no shit. It's coming out a year later. I would like to think it's more powerful than the Pro. That's not.
Should be. They have it year.
You're not going to get a blue ribbon for the obvious. Unless you're Nintendo, normally a company who releases a console a year after the competition, it would be more powerful. All right. So it's just really much damage control to make the product you support look better by trying to make the other one bad. Now, here's the thing everybody don't realize. Zaire likes to use a phrase with the Switch. He likes to use the phrase, "We've seen this movie before." Right? So I'm going to use his phrase. Since he's robbing my sound effects, I'm going to rob him of his little phrase. All right? So I'm going to say we all seen this movie before as well. We all seen the movie where a company releases their console a year after a PlayStation console and failed. We've seen this movie before, right? All right. So releasing a more powerful console when PlayStation already has theirs is not a tactic that's going to work. Because remember, let's assume, let's all agree, just for, let's humor these guys that the PS4 Pro launch wasn't that good. When it launched, it didn't truly show its power, yada yada, all that stuff. But PS4 Pro launch is not going to have anything to do with what happens this November, because coming this November, you're going to have a more optimized console. You're going to have more games that are more optimized on Pro. You know what I'm saying? Developers going to have more time with it. They're going to figure out better ways to use the checkerboard rendering and all those little tricks. You're going to have better looking games. That happens with all consoles. They mature, they look better and better. So that is what Scorpio is going to compete with. It's going to be a brand new console versus a mature console. And if gamers can't discern a noticeable difference, they're not going to pay the $400, especially if Sony decides to sell the Pro, for Black Friday at $300. They're not going to pay the extra $100 for just a minor difference, and no games. Like if you're going to launch the Scorpio with Sea of Thieves, and I try to tell people, go look at like God of War E3 trailer. You'll see millions of views. Go look at Days Gone, Horizon. Hell, even look at Gears of War and Battlefield. And Spider-Man. You're talking views in the millions. Like God of War has like 15 million views on its own. Then go look at Sea of Thieves E3. It's like at 900,000. Not even a million people even bothered to watch. And I think half of those were Tim Dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Tim Dog, my man. But the point I'm trying to say, there's not that much interest in the game. That's number one. And then number two, let's say it might be a sleeper hit. Let's say if there was any chance of Sea of Thieves being a sleeper hit. They're gonna launch this game around September, October timeframe near the Scorpio launch, right?
You're saying God of War?
Right. No, I'm talking about Scorpio.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, so they're gonna launch this game around September, October, November because they're gonna want Scorpio to have
one strong title, like one title to go with. So that hoping to try to get people to buy it.
But here's the problem: what's gonna be around September, October, November timeframe? You got Destiny 2, you got Red Dead Redemption, you got possibly a revamped Call of Duty, you got Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah. No one's gonna give a shit about this game. No one, and I'm talking just Xbox. Nobody in Xbox gonna choose Sea of Thieves over Red Dead Redemption, Star Wars, and Destiny. That ain't gonna happen.
No,
they're not gonna give a shit.
Nope.
No one's gonna give a shit about this game. Timing is critically important when you release a game. You put Sea of Thieves stacked to those super games. You're not the only games I think I even have a press chance of being relevant would be the Halo, God of War, and The Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the Forza, those games like that, the super big known franchises, and the Marios. Right, Sea of Thieves and Crackdown aren't those games. They're gonna get swallowed in that period, So Sea of Thieves is not a Scorpio system seller, not by a country mile, And that's why I've been trying to tell these dudes. We've seen this movie before, You don't have the killer apps to sell Scorpio at this point. The only hope you got if Scorpio is a considerable, huge difference, and that's assuming if gamers even care at this point, because we've been talking about hardware for so many years now. Some gamers are just tired. They just want to buy a disc and put or download and just play. Exactly, they're done with the specs. They're done. They're done with the specs. Enough with the specs. Give us games. You know what I'm saying? They didn't buy consoles to buy more consoles. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm starting to feel like the dude from Exhibit in his MTV shows. Oh, you like to play consoles? Well, I'm going to build a console inside your console so you can play on the console. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
But Porter Rock, that's what I was trying to say. What are your thoughts on them just talking about constant hardware and specs and not talking about games? All these podcasts that are out there, all these fanboys.
They don't have it. That's the truth. That's the reality. They don't have any. Every year they go through an 8-month dry spell. Every year. They either get like one game or nothing. Right? Like hell, I was on a multi-player podcast, right? And it's January, and they're already asking me about what's Sony's holiday lineup. I'm like, God damn, we're in fucking January. Can I at least enjoy the summer and have a barbecue and a beer before we talk about holiday games? I'm like, no. We're barely over this current winter. We're gonna talk about the next. Like, yo, I'm already got bankrupt over the last holiday. Yo, we got 10, 11 months to that shit. Like, calm down, bro. Like, you ain't got no games. I get it. You ain't got no barbecue and a beer. That's just how it is. But before we talk about holiday games, I'm gonna enjoy my summer. Go to the beach, a family trip. You know what I'm saying? Improve on my tan. But they don't have games. And here's the thing: the one exclusive game they do have. And I'm not trying to be, a fanboy about this, but not that many really care about RTS on a console. That's not our niche genre. That's not a console-centric genre. I'm not saying there ain't console gamers that might not enjoy it. They could be. But that's not something big where everybody's like, ooh, an RTS on console. We're not that fan base. That's more of a PC gamer mindset because of the controls. Keyboard and mouse is the perfect setup. It's like I said, it's like trying to play a fighter with a keyboard and mouse. It just doesn't flow as good. As compared with RTS. RTS is a keyboard mouse type game, and that's why it's a very PC centric genre. StarCraft, World of Warcraft, all that shit. That's where all that stuff. There was RTSs on consoles before, like Command and Conquer, but they didn't do too well because the controls are cumbersome and stuff. So the attempts were there, but it just doesn't work. So Halo Wars 2 is not the big exclusive people are looking for.
I mean, just to add to that, because basically, they try to sell it on consoles, but it was just poor executed. Yeah, because of the controls. Like, it controls better on PC because you got the mouse. That's all you need. You don't need, have a control in your hand. But it's just some. Also to add to the what you said about Sea of Thieves, like, the way it's trying to release, you can't even put it in late August because August is basically the month of Madden. And the whatever month that FIFA releases, it's like the only chance for Sea of Thieves will have. It had to be like sometime in the spring, but that's even going to be hard. It's just like those release dates. Because June is E3. I I don't know how they're gonna, throw that in there. It's like, how's people gonna buy the Scorpio if you don't got something that really can sell with it? But you got all those heavy titles coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
But I was saying, Sinister, you're talking, all you're talking about for the last year is hardware. At least when Sony talked about the Pro and everything else, they tried to give you games that were going to come with it. They didn't just say, well, here's the hardware. This is what it does. They talked about games too. We haven't heard any games.
Yeah, let me say this, and let me build off what Porter Rock
bothers me.
Yeah, and what Porter Rock said was dead on. The reason why, Prince, is why I think, Porter Rock's right. There's a 8-month drought. And so, and on the podcast that Porter Rock did yesterday, they showed their hand. All they said was 40% more powerful. The Scorpio is going to be more powerful. So, and this is the same group of people that rips on Digital Foundry. They piss all over them because Digital Foundry is a constant reminder that the Xbox One is inferior. Okay, you're going to get inferior builds for the most part on that console. They don't like the fact that gets pointed out, so they rip on them, say that Sony's bought them out. Then they say Sony is broke. But you're right. I mean, they've been talking about hardware for a year, and it's because Porter Rock's right. Where are the games? I mean, I'm excited about Halo Wars 2, but even on the podcast they were doing, I did not hear anybody talk about Halo Wars. I mean, nothing. And that's Halo's been around since what, the OG Xbox.
Right.
That was their system seller.
Yeah, that was their seller. And according to the people who have looked at the beta and have beta tested it, people I respect online, they're like, yeah, this is a good game.
Hey, Princess. Could you click on my image, or I could share the screen with everybody, so I could show everybody what I'm talking about. All right, everybody sees.
Cut down what?
No, go on Google Hangouts. Click on my picture. So that way, so that way everybody sees the screen on the PC.
All right, you want to see?
Okay, everybody sees what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see over here where it says 2 million, right?
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 3. Yeah. Okay, so there's interest on that. This is God of War. 15 million.
Wow.
This is Horizon just 2 weeks ago. This just came out 2 weeks ago. About January 11th. You already see 2 million views. Right? Now look at Sea of Thieves. This is a month ago.
Wow.
Nobody gives a shit. Only 119,000 views. No one cares. And I'm not doing it to be an asshole.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard a lot of people say that though, Porter Rock. With you bringing that up, I've heard a lot of people say that about Sea of Thieves. They're calling it Sea of Trash, Sea of whatever, Sea of Puke. I mean, I've heard people talk some crazy shit about that. They said nobody wants that damn game.
You see what I'm saying?
The only few people that are hyping it up are the actual fanboys.
I'm trying to say, so it's
not that I'm trying to be an asshole, because the lack of interest is not a PlayStation fanboy. We have no control over that. It's the Xbox fan base. There's 26 million Xbox owners. It's on you guys to show interest, and they don't care. You can see that only 119,000 views. They don't care. And then even worse, in the middle of Red Dead Redemption, Destiny 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, a new Call of Duty, and God knows what brand new IP comes out.
Nintendo may have something out.
Nintendo, imagine if CD Projekt Red is able to get the Cyberpunk game out this holiday season. No one's gonna care about Sea of Thieves.
Too many people to be on Nintendo and the other systems.
Yeah, Crackdown might even be in trouble really at that point if they don't release Crackdown at a good portion. If they don't, you know what I'm saying? Because Crackdown, the franchise already exists at 360. It was never meant to be a super big blockbuster title. It was just a good game, a good AA game, along with other titles. When Crackdown first came out, it was 2007, but that same year you had Mass Effect, you had Halo 7, you had BioShock.
Right.
You had big titles, but Crackdown was considered, more games. That's it proved the library, but it wasn't the definitive game of the library. Now they're trying to make Crackdown the definitive of the library. You are in trouble. And supposedly, I tweeted out, there's a rumor that God of War might be a 2017 game. That shit's done.
Wow.
Right.
If Sony makes a God of War bundle with God of War bundle Slim and Pro, why would you buy a Scorpio to play fucking?
That's gonna happen anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, let me ask everybody. Let me ask everybody.
All right, wait a minute. That's the next topic. Let's stay off God of War because that's the next topic.
All right.
Okay. Well, I was just going to ask real quick. Do you all think it's a combination of with the hardware talk? Do you think people have oversold it? I mean, because I want Xbox to do well. I'm excited about new hardware. But yeah, so do you guys think it's a combination of they just overhyped it to be something more than it's not going to be, and they should have tempered their enthusiasm?
Yeah, I think they should have tempered it to an yes, because I think it's not exactly what they said it was, in my opinion. And the other thing is, once again, besides overhyping it, okay, they're also not talking about games. And that you can overhype hardware all you want. I don't really care. At the end of the day, it's just hardware, okay? It's to run. It's a gaming console. My thing is that they keep talking about the hardware, but they're not talking about games. And it's disappointing.
Right.
I think the problem is the reason why they're talking about games is and everybody, I think a lot of people are disillusioned on why PS4 was successful. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, it was because of the power. It's because of the power." I'm like, you're just listening to shit talk. Yeah, you can't base. You have to look back and actually look at the scenario and not just listen to the people on Twitter that fucking just talk shit. You have to look at the scenario. The scenario why PS4 ended up successful is a whole multitude of things. Number one, Microsoft had a terrible unveiling. That alone made people go with PS4 before the console even launched, right? Then the negativity behind the always online can't play used games. Even though Microsoft didn't implement it when it was all said and done, but they damage controlled it for weeks. Gamers were telling them, we don't want this. And their reply was, well, if you want an Xbox that's not always online, there's a 360 for that. How are you gonna say that?
That did me. That's what got me. When that
said that,
I'm done.
That is disrespectful. It's not like the people. Yeah. It's not like it was the shit talkers. It was your fan base telling you that. It was the people that had money in their pocket ready to buy your console, and they're telling you, hey, we want to play used games. We don't want this 24. And they give them legitimate reasons. I don't have good internet, or I got fucking caps on my internet. I can't be on it all the time, yada, yada. And then he just looks back at him and says, well, if you don't like it, get a 360. That's a slap in the face. And a lot of those gamers replied, or I could get a PS4. Yeah. How you like that? And that was their response. They spoke with their money. No, I'm not going to get a 360. I had one, in fact. Well, fuck you. I'll get a PS4 and see how you like that. And that's just one. And then next, a $500 price tag, and people wondering, why is this console $500? The answer was Connect. Okay, what do I do with it? Or you can Skype. People can Skype on a fucking phone by that point. Like, what do you do with this? Well, you can sit down and tell the console Xbox on. Like, bro, when I play games, I have to hold the controller anyway, and there's no home button.
Exactly.
Staying out on a console is as useless as the eject button on a DVD remote. You have to get up and grab the DVD anyway. So what was the point of the eject button? It doesn't do anything for you. So people are not going to pay an extra $100 for media features that they don't care about, especially those that don't even have cable. A lot of people transitioned away from cable because of Netflix and Hulu and streaming services.
Exactly.
So what do they get out of it, paying $500? Nothing as well. So the message was fucked up. Microsoft was disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? They damage control stupid things gamers didn't want. And PS4, all PlayStation tried to do was, hey, what do you guys do? We just want to make y'all games. That's all we want to do. Give you a good console you can play games on. And people are like, you know what? I could dig that. What kind of games? And places like whatever. AAAs, Japanese exclusives, indies, whatever the fuck you like. We're going to go after it.
It's here.
That's it. We're going to go after it. We're going to go after big AAAs. We're going to try to have relationships with studios, give you some exclusive content on some of the games you like. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do some things for you guys. That's it. For $400. And everybody's like, yup, sounds good to me. PlayStation. That's it. That's it. It wasn't the power. The power is the shit talking. Power's always been a shit talking topic. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's always been about the games. And the company's responsible to provide the support or the relationships with that. And Sony's done a better job. They talk to those third party. Be like, hey, can you bring out some exclusive content? Hey, can you make a Batman custom console? I think our fan base will like that. Hey, can you make a Darth Vader console? Hey, Dusty, how about an all white one with white controllers? Shit like that, people enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
Hype game, give us content, and also Sony didn't try to play the role of indies don't matter. You know, if you don't like indies, don't buy it. But if you like
exactly.
they let the gamers choose what you want to play. If all you like to play on PS4 is indies, that's cool. Do what you want and enjoy it how you want. Microsoft wasn't trying to do that. They restricted everything on what you enjoy. It was all big budget AAAs, but those big budget AAAs weren't blockbuster. A lot of people didn't like them. They didn't care for it. They're like, yeah, you can't get a blue ribbon just because you spent so much money on a game. It has to be something we want. And a lot of the games they didn't want. It might be good, but it wasn't something that the masses would pay $500 for. You know what I mean? It's just
exactly.
No?
Exactly. I agree.
That's my.
Well, let's move on to the next subject. Yeah, let's move on to the next subject. If nobody else has nothing to say, we'll move on to the next subject.
Actually, I had something to say about that.
All right, go ahead, Sinister.
I mean, yeah, because basically my whole thing is this whole generation's been shit. I mean, and it's not just like all the bad stuff like Microsoft done. It's like, look, I mean, every company's done good and bad stuff. Like,
correct.
I mean, yeah, because PlayStation, they did some things great, but they also, did some, some things wrong too. Microsoft, same thing with Nintendo is, doing and stuff like that. And then basically about this whole generation, why it sucks so now, because look, most of this time, and I even said it, a good friend of mine in another podcast, talked about this yesterday. He's like, this year all we have is, remasters, barely any new games and stuff like that. Also, people were, I think some are upset about PSN, being $60 now, just to be with Xbox, and now Nintendo's, about to charge. I think it's about to be around the same price, and they're online. And the thing is, like, it's just, and then you got all the graphic whores out there. It's like, oh man, it's like it's like the gameplay's great, but it's like, oh, these graphics suck, and it's like, I mean, really. It was just too much complaining about this and that, and plus this, the whole, fanboy, it's been a whole cancer. This whole generation. I know it's been around for years, but this whole generation, it's just went way out of proportion. It's been rampant. It's like that's why you see all these drama channels going out. It's like damaging this and damaging that, and I was like, going after this and like, even threatening people. Like, hey, I mean, you got those people who threaten the people, making that no man's junk. I mean, you saw how the way Yoshida threw that company under the bus. They're trying to distance themselves away from that. It's like, heck, you costing Sony all that money, for a game that hardly anybody's playing, and stuff like that. But that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Well, let's. Craig, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, no, I just think that I think it was a combination of. I agree with what Sinister said here. It's unfortunate because instead of everybody being excited about a new hardware coming in, I think everybody should be excited about that because it's supports. There's more games we can walk in and buy, the more options we have. I agree. Porter Rock's right with the outright disrespect Microsoft had. Especially that comment about the. Well, if you don't have good internet, you can just, buy an Xbox 360. It's like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna get a PS4. So yeah, that's about all I got to say. I just thought maybe there was a handful of people online that are just ginning everything up bigger than it should be, and just be excited but not overplay their hand.
There's also one more thing. I'm sorry.
Until you hear it from somebody's mouth, until you hear it from the big, stop overhyping stuff. Yeah. And I agree with you on that, Craig.
That's what it is.
Craig, stop overhyping it because that's exactly what they do. They overhype it, and then when you know what, you only make yourself look like an ass when it's not what you said it was. But then you go back and you find some way to try to damage control for what you said. Oh no, that's not what I meant. You guys took it out of context. No, this is what you said. Let's put it back up there, and I'll give it to you. This is what you said. I hate when they do that.
No,
it's crazy. And what do you want to say, Porter?
Princess, you right there at that point, you hit it on the nose because on the multiplayer podcast, of course, they were damage controlling the news, and I told them that I'd be like, listen, And I told them this. Most of you guys are on your Beast Fire podcast. I want you to re-listen what you guys said this past Monday, and then go back to, let's say, 2-3 months ago, and listen to how you guys talked about Scorpio. And you're going to see a completely different tone. Because what you guys talked about this week, you never mentioned. I never heard of you guys talking about sparse rendering or this or that PC doesn't really have 4K imaging and that you can display a 4K image, but the actual trees, building, cars, and everything is not really 4K. I never heard of any of this shit before. And we've been talking about this render. So this is what sparse rendering. Sparse rendering is, so the image itself is 4K, rendered in 4K, but the actual stuff, the assets in the game is not native 4K. So like, let's say you're playing Fallout and it's a native 4K game, but the car, the building, the people are not being rendered native 4K. They're doing some trickery.
So it's similar to something similar to checkerboarding.
Yeah, so I'm like, something similar. So I'm like, so what's the fucking point of calling native 4K if the stuff in the game is not native 4K? Then what the fuck is native 4K then? Like the stuff that's not but the thing is, none of, and I'm not saying these techniques are shitty or bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, how come this wasn't talked about before? You know, we've been talking, or they've been talking about Scorpio for 8 fucking months. Not once have I heard of this shit. Now all of a sudden, all this shit comes out and it's okay. No, motherfuckers, y'all gonna take this out.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. They were talking about PlayStation, okay, doing checkerboarding, right? But Microsoft's doing it. Oh, but now it's okay. But if PlayStation did it, oh, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
It's half step.
Come on now.
It's half step. You know, remember, they wanted uncompromised 4K. That was the term. Uncompromised. Uncompromised to me doesn't mean you render the image in native 4K, but everything in the game is fucking 1440p or some shit. That doesn't sparse. Uncompromised means, uncompromised is the hair on his chin is rendered in native 4K. Everything is native 4K. If that's what you're gonna hype, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something else I wanted to bring up. A question I want to bring up. You think the media is being biased? Like, lately seen the media, it's like, they want to favor PlayStation over Xbox or over Nintendo, just to throw it in general. You think, channels like IGN and GameSpot, do you think those channels is being biased towards, favoring one system over the other, because what they got? Or you think somebody's bribing them with money just to make sure, like, hey, promote them instead of shitting on the other? I don't know. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
All right, who's gonna answer that? Can I say that? I will say this. All right, I'm gonna be unbiased. Remember this. Or let's start off with this. There is no such thing as gaming journalism. It's a made up job. When you do it doesn't have ethics. There's no code. There's no fight for the truth. It's not like hell, we barely get that with politics now. And that's one area we should have the absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that affects people's lives and government, all that stuff. But gaming journalism isn't a real thing. It's a made up thing. It's a made up thing by an industry to take advantage of money and, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. Okay. With that said, if you have a site, let's say like Gaming IGN, right? You have to go where the money is. Let's put it this way. So there's going to be times you have to finagle the story to make sure you get your hits. You understand what I'm saying? So let's put it this way. So let's say let's reverse the situation. Let's pretend Xbox One would have been the console market dominator. Let's say Xbox One would have been at 55 million and PS4 is at 26 million. The opposite. Do you think IGN will push out as many negative articles about the Xbox One as they did, knowing that the majority of the market is Xbox gamers?
Probably not. It's not good business.
Probably not. Why? Because the majority of those gamers hate the company. They don't want to go to it. They'll go to another site. So they're not gonna, even though the issues will be there, they're not gonna talk about it a lot.
Nope.
To put a bad taste in their mouth. They're gonna probably do a little bit, just so that way they can look a little bit unbiased, but they're not gonna go overboard. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta think about that. We would do the same thing. Let's say if all of us had our own gaming channel. Let's call it the podcast network. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Our bread and butter would be the PS4 crowd base. So I mean, at the end of the day, when we're offline talking about this in the boardroom, and this is our company. This is what puts food on our table. This is what makes the Irish Princess drive around in a brand new candy apple Escalade.
Hey.
That we got to do what we got to do to keep that money flowing. You know what I'm saying? And if that means we don't piss off the PS4 fan base, then that's what we got to do. Because at the end of the day, we said we're sending our kids to private school.
Yeah, this feed you the money.
We're paying the bill. It's not a hobby. It's its actual company. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do things based on the market trend. And you're gonna see, like, if you guys remember last gen, the market favored 360 a lot. You know what I'm saying? Right. I remember PS3 was getting blasted. There wasn't a day that I didn't read a negative PS3 article.
But if people go back, you just hit it on the head, Porter Rock. If people go back and look, it's like every other gen, the other one gets bashed.
Yeah, it's not really the other one. It's whoever's popular.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The popular console gets the favor from the industry. That's just the reality. If you're the top dog, everybody's gonna be on your side. But as soon as you fucking fall flat on your face, they're gonna hound you. That's just reality. Yep.
It is what it is. It's been happening for years.
That's what happens with dollars. That's how it is.
I mean, you go. Excuse me, can't even talk. But I mean, think about it. Even ever since PS2 came out, I mean, the numbers have been phenomenal. But they shitted on the other two because Xbox just got into the market. The GameCube was released, but yet they were like on the bottom.
Look at Nintendo. Nintendo got shitted on ever since the N64. Nintendo's been getting shitted on for a long time.
Oh heck! I mean, they created a monster, which is Sony. When they stabbed them in the back.
They done fucked up on that one, bro. Nintendo's kicking themselves in the ass over that one.
That's why Nintendo's been on the bottom ever since. The only thing they got to the top is when the Wii came out, like during that time, its popularity, it was like, boom, it did numbers over 360 and PS3 for a while, and then it started declining,
All right, so it's safe to say that Microsoft put the arse in sparse.
There you go. Let's move on to the next one, guys, because I think we talked about that enough. We don't need to give Microsoft any more height than they need to be, because they do that themselves.
Yeah, they got no game.
Yeah. All right, so we more God of War 4 info made it out today, guys. But the one thing is, we still don't have an idea when it'll be released. But everybody knows this is a big game for Sony and a big game for gaming, period. Now, me personally, I think it's coming out late 2017. Okay, either maybe around holiday time or something. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on the new God of War 4 is coming out?
I mean, that's one of their first party titles. I mean, along with Uncharted. I mean,
right.
I mean, think about it. It's like you have them, like Uncharted. I mean, that's right now. Those are like their big two. And of course, you got Last of Us, but that's next year. But as of right now, I mean, heck, I mean, just the way that Uncharted sold, and now with God of War, as far as release date, if it's going to be late 2017, it probably have to be right after either Call of Duty, because basically you don't want to be in competition with those other big titles. You want to release
exactly.
Yeah, you want to release.
So when do you think it's coming out? When do you think it's coming out, Sinister?
If I have to guess, either late November or December. Somewhere
around the holidays. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around that doesn't, be in competition with the other big titles.
Yeah, that's my thing. I honestly think they're gonna wait until the holiday time, because Sony does like to put surprises around that time sometimes. And God of War would be excellent for, if they even want to do a package deal or whatever, that'd be perfect. Like you said, in November, mid-December, right before Christmas, that would be.
Well, I mean, heck, like Friday.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In November.
Yeah.
If they don't do it then, at least, mid-December for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And people still having sales all the way through until Christmas from Black Friday on.
Yep.
They started Black Friday and they went to Cyber Weekend, then it was Cyber Monday, and it's Cyber Week, and then it's Cyber 2 weeks and whatever. So, yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on God of War 4?
I'll say this. That game, especially the way they revamped it, the world looks bigger because if you remember the last scene, you had the dragon far out and then it flew in and flew over their heads.
Right.
Graphics, the gameplay, they changed the pace up to make it fresh. They didn't want to keep it stagnant, and that game has such a huge, there's such a huge attraction for this game. Now normally I would normally say that this game because the game usually comes out around March timeframe for whatever reason. So I was thinking originally 2018, like March. All right. But given the fact that the game's already done, because the director said he already played through the game from start to finish. So fundamentally, the gameplay at least is already done. All right. But I think Sony's going beyond just God of War. They want to go head to head with Scorpio. They're gonna continue this hardware war to try to crush Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? And I think a powerful way is to use God of War within the bundles, the PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro, and go head to head with Scorpio this November, because that's why everything's prepping for. Everything's prepping for the battle of November, December. So I do agree, Irish Princess. There is a possibility we could see God of War this winter, because normally Sony doesn't do that because they don't want to go head to head. They don't want to go head to head on their own console with multiplayer. They want Call of Duty to sell.
Right.
They want Call of Duty to sell because they make money off that. So they don't want people to say, I'm not going to buy Destiny because I'm going to get God of War. Sony really doesn't want that. They want you to get Destiny and God of War, and they're going to try to space it out. But I think Sony sees the bigger picture, which is the Scorpio, and I think the message is you're going to buy brand new hardware at $399 with no games, or, Sea of Thieves, or you could pay $300 for powerful hardware and God of War.
Wow.
That you know what I'm saying? So the question is, how important is native 4K at that point? How important is the difference between checkerboard and native 4K when the real difference is Sea of Thieves Crackdown versus God of War? You know what I'm saying? Right now, Microsoft doesn't have an IP to go toe-to-toe with God of War. They don't have an IP this year. Unless they announce something big in June, they don't have an IP that can stand up to God of War. So they don't. Crackdown.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't, and that would be a perfect time for them to do that. They'd blow them out the goddamn water with that shit.
I would agree. That one-on-one, and they can't even say, and a lot of Xbox fans can't even say, well, we got the superior multiplat sell. We got the marketing rights. Well, PlayStation, I keep saying PlayStation got the marketing rights for multiplat. So let's say like Red Dead Redemption, it's PlayStation that's going to get timed exclusive content. So you can't even use that. Especially if you're like if you're a video game streamer or YouTuber, you're not going to wait on maps on Red Dead Redemption if you plan to stream that. If you plan to stream that, you want content day one. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be behind the competition. If you're an Xbox YouTuber, you're always going to be behind the competition with terms of DLC. It's always going to be the PS4 YouTubers that get the audience because they get the content day one. You see what I'm saying? So power may not be, and it's not like people are going to see 4K on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's 4K, you can't see it on YouTube. You need a 4K display. So some people, and I would say that's an issue PS4 Pro had. People couldn't see it on YouTube or in a commercial because they're watching it from a 1080p TV, So they're looking at it and they're seeing, videos of 4K versus the 1080p, and they both look the same. But it's because the medium they're watching it on don't allow them, It's like trying to compare two stereo systems with the best sound, but you're listening through a fucking analog phone. Doesn't matter. Your phone, your phone is what's weakening the difference. You know what I'm saying? So Scorpion's gonna go through that. But people can't see God of War. That's easy. That's noticeable. They see a box with Kratos' face, and they see a box with a pirate. I'm gonna get the box with Kratos' face for $300. And not this fucking pirate game for $400. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I agree. I could see them coming out with this game for that reason.
I'm going to say, I'm going to disagree. I say Q2 of 18 because something that you just said about Star Wars, and it really made me think. I don't know if people know this. Rogue One made over $1 billion, and they're going to actually put, I think, maps of that movie into this new Battlefront. And if that's out, and you're talking about Red Dead being out and Sony having marketing, that's for me, that's news. I didn't know that, so good for Sony. To me, why put Kratos out there to have it get possibly Tomb Raider like what happened to Tomb Raider 2015, because Tomb Raider got crushed by Fallout. I mean, to this day, if I was the developers of Tomb Raider and they said we're going to come out the same day as Fallout, I would have went up to Redmond and I would have smacked Microsoft in their face.
Well, that was Microsoft's fault, though. That was, in fact, Microsoft told they asked Square Enix not to do that, and Square Enix said no, we're releasing on that day.
That was stupid on their part.
Yeah, they didn't realize how big Fallout. Square Enix didn't realize how big Fallout is. I guess I don't know how, but you know what I'm saying. So that was Microsoft told them you can't release on this day because Fallout comes out. Especially Microsoft also had the marketing rights to Fallout, so it's like, damn, what the fuck?
That's
both games that are marketing by us, you're releasing it the same day. That doesn't help them.
And the sales didn't help.
Yeah. But Sony will be smarter because Sony knows the schedule for Red Dead Redemption. They know the schedule for Battlefield, so they'll position in a way to maximize it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, yes, I do agree. You know, if God of War has a month to itself, it's going to sell the most. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you brought a good point up, Porter Rock, because I mean, look what happened last year in October. That was a huge month for games.
Yes, it's.
I mean, look what happened. You had, of course, Battlefield 1 was on released like towards the end of the month, and then you had Titanfall 2. Then you had, that new Call of Duty. Titanfall, I mean, financially didn't sell great because
it didn't.
It was too stacked. EA was dumb.
He had to release one by one. I mean,
EA competed with themselves. That's retarded.
That was EA's fault.
Yeah, that's like, you brought out a game to try to outsell your own game. Like, are you kidding me? You had to know Battlefield was gonna crush fucking Titanfall 2. That's ridiculous.
Then Call of Duty, despite billions of dislikes, he didn't crushed Titanfall 2. I was like,
Titanfall 2 is a good game. Titanfall 2 is a good game.
I bought it. It's phenomenal. The player is fucking dope.
Yeah,
it is so dope.
Yeah.
But look right now in 2017, over the next 6 months, what shooter are we going to be playing next? Like I said, I'm not a big shooter advocate, but for those who are, what's the big shoot over the next 6 months? There isn't any.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Titanfall would have been perfect if they would have released it in March or April. People would have got over the Battlefield by this point. People would have got over the COD by that point. All those shooters, they would have been over it, and they want something new and fresh. And Titanfall 2 would have been by itself. That shit would have made a killing now.
Not in March, because Mass Effect releases in March. That's
like April. I say March, April, May.
Yeah. So you think late Q2 it would have done better? What you're saying?
Yeah, it would have done better.
I think it would have done better too. Yeah.
People would have gotten over the whole COD Battlefield craze. Right now, Battlefield would have been like, okay, I'm done with Battlefield. Want some people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not that they're done. It's not that they're done, but they want something fresh and new.
Yes.
They're going to go back to Battlefront because they always do.
Yeah.
Well, Battlefield, excuse me, but they're not. But they want something else to tie in with something else they're playing.
That's true.
So they could switch up. Now I got 2 shooters I can play.
Yeah.
All right. I've gotten my trophies over here. I can do this.
Yeah.
Now I want to get my trophies here, but I could still have fun depending on what my friends want to play. I can go back and forth between Battlefield and Titanfall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so you think that we see a God of War? Do you think we see gameplay at this E3?
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna see gameplay.
I think we will.
Yeah.
We saw gameplay last E3, so we definitely gonna see a lot more.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll probably see a lot. They'll probably reveal a lot more information about God of War.
I mean, for Kratos, they chose a different voice actor. They didn't have T.C. Carson this time. They just chose to go with a different actor.
Yeah, they gotta. Yeah, that's a tough. Yeah, see, it's not that so. It was. I think the God of War would sell well, even if it came out in the fall. But right. I think something like that kind of needs its own. Give it its own space, kind of like they did with Uncharted. Uncharted when it came out, I think in May last year. So let's give it its. And they moved that away from Quantum Break because they were kind of lined up. They were almost stacked against each other. But I think
it wouldn't have mattered. Quantum Break wouldn't have sold anyway. It didn't, and it won't.
Quantum Break.
That shit was broke as hell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Quantum Dud.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was. I can't call it Quantum Break. I got to call it Quantum Break. But anyway.
I enjoyed the game.
Well, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. There was some things about it that I did like, but I don't like going following a path. You got to go from point A to point B. It was, it was like the story, the actual gameplay was too short. The cutscenes were too long. If I want to watch a movie, I'll go watch a movie. Okay, I had a lot of mess up in the graphics and I mean the lighting effects and everything else. I mean, I posted that shit. I posted that shit. One time the person looks good, the next time it looks like they got plastic hair on their head and not hair. Come on.
Oh shit.
That's why I used to say that it was like Lego. It reminded me of when you watch a Lego, about Lego game and they got the little, pieces on their head. But it was, but it wasn't all the time. It was sometimes. I understand they had to get it out, but instead of, because it took so long, my only thing is that, I think they still should have waited. Just postpone it. They should have postponed it, tweaked it out, get all those tweaks out, or whatever. But if they do come out with a second one, they got to cut the cutscenes a little bit, make it a little more open world, fix the graphics so it don't look like plastic and the lighting effects look horrible. Mm-hmm. And then maybe I'll think about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm really hoping at this E3 that they announce a sequel to that. I mean, just give me something.
But they got to do better. Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna make a sequel.
Hey, I mean, I'll be happy to do like a sequel to Sunset Overdrive because that was amazing.
That I would love. That what I would love.
Yeah,
that's something I would love.
Insomniac's not gonna. Apparently, I think Insomniac. When people were asking for the PC version, and like the tone of Insomniac when they replied said they're not even gonna bother pointing it to PC. So I guess they didn't do that well.
It didn't sell well, but it was a great game. It just didn't sell well.
But at the end of the day, like I said, they got to pay their light bill. Everybody can say a game is great, but that doesn't pay their light bill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the game's great, you got to pay for it, so that way they could get money.
That's true.
Well, is Insomniac? Are they making Spider-Man or is that Platinum?
No, there's Spider-Man's Insomniac.
Is that Insomniac? Because I saw that. I saw a trailer for that. Shout out to Matt's Gamer. Yeah, he had a trailer of that. That looked phenomenal. I was like,
I saw the trailer at E3 and it looked amazing. So, but just my only gripe is just that white Sparta logo on his costume. It's like,
yeah.
That's just me, but just a minor gripe. But everything else is cool about him.
Right. Sony signed a check for that one because Sonic's saying Spider-Man's their biggest production game.
Yeah, he's got that Homecoming coming out in July.
It's the biggest production game they ever developed before. So they got a check for this one.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to the next subject, guys. We'll move on to the next subject because we got like 2 more subjects to go. Okay. Now, for me, the next one is Resident Evil 7. Now, I'm going to go on record saying that this game is a masterpiece. I have to say it, okay? At first, I thought with the game in first person that it would be dumbed down. But, guys, it's amazing. I love the graphics. I love the story. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's fucking scary. I've jumped. I've screamed. I've done everything, okay? There's so much I could say about Resident Evil, but I'm not going to – I can't spoil it for people. But for the people that have played it, anybody here on a panel tonight, do you think this is the best Resident Evil since 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. None. I mean, but before I continue on, it's like I heard a story like somebody was threatening somebody at IGN because of the score it got, and that got like a 7.7, while Resident Evil 6 got a 7.9. It's like I don't know. It's like, bro, it's like it's not even worth it.
I don't understand why people worry about what IGN says. Really.
Yeah.
They're just a place that hyped up. They made an industry for themselves. Like Porter Rock said before, there is no gaming news industry. It's made up. It's just a made up thing.
Don't even know how to. Someone don't even play games. They just make up bullshit. Just give a score. It's like, oh yeah, and it's like this is what it is. Like, but it's an amazing game.
I love it. I love it.
You gotta be your own judge about it. Do your own review about it. Don't listen to like channels like them.
Well, I'm going to do a review, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on what you thought of the game, whoever played it.
Okay,
so that way people that are listening,
yeah,
they'll understand what we're saying. Now, I personally love the game. I think it's better than Resident Evil 4 and stuff like that. I wanted you guys to talk so that you guys can tell everybody else what your thoughts are, because that may help somebody buy the game.
Okay. I'll say this: I haven't played it yet, but pretty much everybody I know has been trying to tell me how great the game is, and I shut them down because I'm gonna get it, and I don't want them to spoil it for me. But I have
same here.
I have yet to meet a person that is disappointed, and it's funny you mentioned RE4. I hear that from multiple different people saying, "Hey, this game could have the same impact RE4 had." And then they'd be like, "Yeah," and it's because, and I'd be like, "No,
Just shut up.
Okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to go through but
that's why I said what I said, Puerto Rock, because I can't spoil her. I just said how amazing it was, and the storyline, and it's scary, and the graphics. I gotta leave it at that because I'm not gonna spoil it for nobody. I'm not a spoiler. I can't do that.
I will say this though: if anybody's interested, from what I'm getting it, so from what I'm hearing, I have yet to see a person that's negative behind the game. I've been hearing so much about it, even from the VR guys. And like, there's a guy who took a picture of him playing VR, Resident Evil, and he put a caption: "The only way to play RE7 on VR," and it was him with his pants down, sitting on a bucket. It's pretty funny, just in case you shit on yourself, you can shit right in the bucket. And I was like, "Oh shit!" So it's serious. This game is impressive. A lot of people talking about it, and I'm trying to, do blackouts because I personally feel so excited for it. So
you're gonna love it. I'm gonna tell you, what about you're gonna love it? You haven't played it. I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say is you're gonna love it.
I mean, I can't wait to get it. Just that's why I follow like Real Gamer 20 stream for a little bit. I was like, okay, it looks amazing. I just want to see just a peep of it, and then I just cut it off because I don't want to be spoiled by it, because I want to play it for myself. It's like just the way it looks. I was like, damn.
See, that's why Sinister. That's why I only streamed a little bit, and I cut it off because I'm not going to spoil her. I just want them to see what's going on. They get a little gist, and then I played it, and then I'll go maybe jump to another section or something, so they don't actually know what's going on. Because it's not, you don't want to spoil it for nobody, because there's a lot of people who didn't get it yet and who want to get it, but they bought a lot of the games and they're playing a lot of the games. So unfortunately, and they got to pay bills. So, they got to wait to get it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it for those people.
Yeah. I'll simply say that it really reminds me of, and I played it for about 2 hours. It reminds me, and this is go back to, I think, the PlayStation 1 maybe, or maybe it was early PlayStation 2 with the, Silent Hills, the original Silent. The original Silent Hill. The hill of the pure feeling of helplessness. That's what it feels like to me. And I like suspense more than I like gore. So I've enjoyed what I played on it. So I won't spoil it though. I'm enjoying it.
All right, so we'll get off that one. We're gonna go to our final topic, okay? Because I'm sure people got a lot to say about this stuff. We're gonna go back a little bit to Microsoft, okay? Now, no, listen. All right, no. Now I heard Next Gen's podcast the other day, and a small debate about who was best for Microsoft. I don't know if anybody else heard it. People arguing about Phil Spencer. Now I'm gonna be honest and say that Phil Spencer dropped the ball this gen. I'm gonna keep it 100, whether anybody likes it or not. Now last gen, when Don Matrix and Steve Ballmer was around, okay, the Xbox division was focused on gaming, not features, okay? And they had like things like Summer Arcade and stuff like that. They had games with gold being better. They had a lot going on for themselves, okay? So why is that people are big on Phil Spencer? Now, keep it in mind, guys. Phil is a nice guy, don't get me wrong. I personally talked to him myself in a chat, okay? But a lot of what I said needs to be done wasn't done, okay? Ballmer, on the other hand, just threw money at games and got them on the 360. Don Matrix was a businessman. I think people's problems with Don Matrix is that he told the truth this gen, and people don't want to hear the truth. They're like, like a little kid holding their ears. What are your thoughts on who was best for Microsoft? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
All right, I'm gonna have my opinion, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna have to side with Phil on this one. And I'm gonna explain why. I'm gonna tell you why. Everybody's giving Don Matrick props, right? And I disagree with people giving Don Matrick props because he was handed a Ferrari that was bought by Peter Moore. Peter Moore made Xbox 360 great. Everybody keeps mentioning Don Matrick. Don Matrick didn't come into like 2009. Xbox 360 launched in 2005.
Right.
It was Peter Moore who set the template. He worked, he earned the money, he bought the Ferrari, and then he told Don Matrick, hey, I'm doing bigger, better things with EA. Here are the keys. Don't fuck it up. He handed him the Ferrari. Don Matrick didn't earn that Ferrari. He was giving it to him. And now everybody wants to give, or some people want to give Don Matrick credit simply because he put new rims on it and a better radio. Like, no, that Ferrari was fresh off the printament, off the back of Peter Moore. If you look back and research a little bit on Peter Moore, he has a couple of philosophies on the 360 on how he made it successful. Number one, his philosophy was you have to come out before the competition. All right. Now, it's funny he used the word competition because when you look at 2005, there was no competition. It was PS2. That was pretty much the console everybody owned. It was 100. By that point, it was over 120 million.
Right.
OG Xbox was around 23 million. GameCube was around 22 million. Not saying that they're bad consoles, but when you look at competition, if you were a console gamer, you were a PS2 gamer. It just saturated the market. So when Peter Moore says you got to come out a year before the competition, what he was really saying was you have to come out a year before PlayStation. That was his number one thing. You have to come out first. Number two, you have to attract the PlayStation 2 gamer. That was his philosophy. Because at that point, there wasn't, we were all console gamers, but again, during that landscape, a console gamer was most likely a PS2 gamer. So if you want your console to sell, you have to give what a PS2 gamer wants. That's why he gave out the Blue Dragon. That's why he put in money for Blue Dragon. That was Peter Moore, not Don Matrick. Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, Tales of Vesperia, Infinite Discovery, right? That was all Peter Moore. He went after Grand Theft Auto and put down $50 million to have exclusive time DLC because he knew he needed something more than just having Grand Theft Auto 4. He wanted to show the people, hey, if you like Grand Theft Auto 4, play it on Xbox because we got more than what PlayStation 3 has at a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? Then he also went after the Devil May Cries. He went after Virtua Fighter 5 and added online multiplayer on it so you could play online. He attracted the PS2 gamers with Japanese games and the exclusive and games that used to be exclusive on PlayStation. He made it with dealings and talking with third party to make them multi-plats. That's why DMC is a multi-plat now. That's why Metal Gear or Grand Theft Auto, all these games that were exclusives to PlayStation are now multi-plats. Then on top of that, he went after PC developers because he said we have to make 360 easy to develop to get PC games because shooters going to be big this gen. So that's why he went after the BioShocks. You know what I'm saying? The Battlefields and all that. All of that is what made 360 successful. And he did one more thing. He also was all about the Xbox Live Arcade store. He was all about that. That's why they started getting either exclusive games or timed exclusive games. Exclusive games like Cypher Complex and timed exclusives like Super Meat Boy and Braid. You know what I'm saying? He was all about gaming across everything. He also was the one that was behind the whole achievement system. You know what I'm saying? Something more for the gamer. He created that system to purposely create a rift of PS3 and 360 gamers because when the PS3 gamers buy a $60 game and an Xbox 360 gamer buy a $60 game, 360 gamers get a little bit more with that achievement system. PS3 gamers are left with nothing. They're like, man, we don't get anything out of playing the same games, which is bullshit. That's why Sony had to create trophies. This was all Peter Moore. So Peter Moore created this dominant environment of JRPGs, great relationships with third party, all that stuff. Then all of a sudden EA comes and approaches them saying, hey, we're going to make a bigger studio where we push out fucking Dragon Age and all this stuff. We want your fucking leadership. We're going to give you a bigger check for a job. He said, cool. Hey, Microsoft, I'm out. Don Matrick, here are the keys. Take care of my baby, but I'm gone. I'm going with EA. So Don Matrick was handed an empire. He fucked it up.
Yep, big time.
Okay.
Right from the get-go, he went with this Connect, and then what was the only games you were getting as soon as he went on? You weren't getting no more Lost Odysseys and stuff like that. You weren't getting no more DLCs behind third party. You were getting Connect Halo, Forza, Fable, and Gears. That's it. That's all you will get. All that.
Rock, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you on what you just said, 100%. My thing is, though, what has Phil done lately for us, though?
But here's the thing, though. Phil Spencer took over shit. So just put it this way. Peter Moore.
But he made it easier.
I know, but listen. Peter Moore bought the Ferrari, right? He gave it to Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer crashed it. And now he gave it to Peter Moore. He goes, hey, you deal with this. Now Phil Spencer's left with fucking dealing with insurance claims. And fucking what happened with the accident. What are we going to do? We need a new car. What type of new car we're going to get? You know, a lot of the games that were also released was under Don Matrick. It wasn't even Phil Spencer's fucking product. So Phil Spencer was handed junk. He was handed a console where people didn't want 24-hour online. Gamers got disrespected. I'm saying some of the exclusives weren't even fucking good or wasn't the big games he wanted. The console hardware design, there's nothing he could do with that. The design choice of going with DDR3 and ESRAM, that's not him. There's nothing he could do with that. So you can't get the games to 1080p or, you know, or run as equivalent to PS4. And
okay,
it wasn't.
But Rock, what is he telling us? I'm not putting the other guy up above him. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is, what has he done when we've asked for certain things over a year ago that he could easily fix? They're only software things like the Upload Studio and YouTube and stuff like that. And we don't even talk about gaming when it comes to fixing the console.
It depends on his priority. I don't know if YouTube uploader is his priority. Yeah, it may be for some gamers that hate it. I don't know what's his battle plan. I mean, you gotta have a blueprint and whatever.
No, but he gave us Beam. When we asked, every time we asked for that, he's given us Beam.
Well, hold on. Beam is not his project. That's a Microsoft project. It's not him. He doesn't control Beam. So again, we gotta understand. Phil Spencer has a boss. So if Microsoft's pushing Beam and they tell him, "Hey, Phil Spencer, figure out Beam with Xbox," all he's gonna do is say, "Aye, sir," and he marches with his orders. So Beam may not be. He doesn't own Beam. Beam is not his division. It's another division of Microsoft that's pushing Beam. Because remember, Beam is not just for Xbox. It's for all services that want to stream and stuff. So that's a Microsoft. Right. He has to be part of it, and it may not be his choice. He may want YouTube. But if his bosses tell him, no, we want to make money, we want to create a service that makes YouTube level money. So no, we don't want Xbox streaming on YouTube because we want that platform to help our Beam service. So figure it out. He might be in that position. He may not be the one that says. In my opinion, I think Phil Spencer's smart enough to know YouTube's the way to go. But again, he has bosses. And if Microsoft created this Beam service, they tell him, hey, figure out a way to help this service out with Xbox, then that's what he has to do. That's the blueprint he has to follow. So YouTube may not be a priority for Microsoft because they want their own services to skyrocket.
Okay, but what about the Upload Studio?
Okay, the Upload Studio, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe that's not his priority. There's some things that we can't know.
But like, I don't see gaming his priority, though, either. That's my thing. He's not even talking about games. I mean, now he's in there. He should say, well, okay, I'm going to do this. He talked about Cuphead, that he wanted to bring Cuphead back. He said he was going to bring it back in 2016. 2016 is gone. With 2017, where's Cuphead?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
It's in the cabinet.
I would say Phil Spencer's priority right now is the hardware, which is Scorpio. And I know there's no games behind it, but I think in his mind, and this is just his blueprint, he wants to step away from Xbox One S and Xbox name as fast as possible. He doesn't want to be tied by the umbilical cord of what Don Matrick did. That's why he's getting rid of Connect. He's getting rid of all that. So he's trying to start, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not saying it may not be the right, I mean, I agree with you. It may not be the right strategy. I'm just thinking his strategy is, let me create a hardware that is me, and then from that point, I'm going to focus on.
Okay, I give him that. He created hardware that was him, but he's still not talking. I get him talking about the hardware because that's him. Yeah. But you say you're a gamer, and you talk to gamers. Well, then where are the games? You can't just talk about hardware, not games. So he gonna make this flop by not talking about games or giving us games or giving anybody games for the Scorpio. What do you got? You get a Scorpio, you get maybe 1 or 2 games that you don't want, and then you got to wait, 8 months? It's dry to get something else, and you want to put a $500, $600 price tag on it? Yeah. No, you can't do that.
I agree. So I think he'll rev up with Game Focus post Scorpio, which is a long time, but I think that's when he's just doing one thing at a time, and it's going to be Scorpio first, That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying if the strategy is good or not. I don't think it's a good strategy, but that's why he's going with. He's going to go with. He's hoping he could go with Scorpio and just use the power to at least attract those gamers who primarily care about multiplats or playing the best version of multiplats, which may not be a lot, maybe a little. And then after he's passed that bridge of, hey, this is my console, this is my hardware, this is my vision. Now I'm going to support the games that I want with the hardware that is my vision. Now, I'm not saying that's a good strategy, but I'm thinking
no, it's not, because you need games to sell a console. You can't just sell it on power. With power, it's good, but without games to use that power, how are you going to sell it? Nobody's going to wait 8 months for a game.
I think he's banking on. I think he's banking on saying, I think he's banking on hoping that the narrative that the Scorpio has the best version of Red Dead Redemption or Destiny or Call of Duty and Battlefield, just the best version. The Digital Foundry, articles and all that shit and word of mouth. I think he's banking on that helping the Scorpio, where people talk about, damn, fucking this game looks better than the Pro. This game looks better than the PS4 version. And I think he's hoping that some gamers will gravitate toward that. That, the best version of the best looking Call of Duty is on the Scorpio. The best looking Red Dead Redemption is on the Scorpio. And I think he's hoping that will help the console just by claiming that all these games
people
are better.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Puerto Rico, if people already have a Pro,
yes,
or a PS4, they're, and they're not going to put money out on that price tag that they're asking.
I agree.
Those games, that's what I'm saying. They have to have some a little bit more.
I agree. And
that's what I don't think
it's a good strategy.
Swap on that.
Now, I don't agree. Like I said, I agree that I don't think it's a good strategy because, like I said before, never in console generation has a more powerful, more expensive hardware took over the industry. But again, but going back to the original question, who's better, Don Matrick, Phil Spencer? Don Matrick failed the Xbox One. The issues you have with Xbox One is because of Don Matrick. He's the one that caused all this problem. He was the one that wanted TV. He's the one that forced people to connect. He was the one that told gamers, well, if you don't like it, there's a 360. He's the one that fucked it all up. He took the Ferrari and crashed it. He's the one, the whole Xbox only got Halo Gears Forza. It's because of him. When he took over, that's all we were getting because he wanted, he's the one that caused Rare to go to this Connect Adventure shit and fucking Avatar. You know what I'm saying? And Rare wasn't bought for that. Under Peter Moore's wing, they were making Perfect Dark Zero. They were making Viva Pinata. They were making Cameo. They were making games under fucking excuse my language, under Don Matrix realm. Nah, you ain't doing that. You doing Connect Adventure. Oh, and make some avatars. And then they're like, okay, if that's what you want us to do, that's what we'll do. So that's why I don't like Don Matrick at all. I think to me, he's the rich kid that's bragging about, having a company, but his dad gave him $10 million to start it off. I'm more impressed with your dad, who was an immigrant with a fucking, backpack and sandals, who built his wealth from the ground up. That's the dude that I applaud. You were just giving a fucking, a check. You know what I'm saying? You got it easy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see Don Matrick.
Yeah.
He was handed a Ferrari, and people try to give him props because he put rims on it. Like, no, that Ferrari was Peter Moore, and you crashed it. And now you handed off a crashed and burned product to Phil Spencer. Now, Phil Spencer, could he have done better decisions? Of course. But I don't think Don Matrick is good at all. I think he just handed keys to the kingdom, and he just fucked it up. Everything, you think about it, when you think of everything wrong of Xbox One within the first 2-3 years, or even the last 2 years of 360, that was all Don Matrick. No exclusives, because we were talking about Xbox not having exclusives for a while, even before X1. Going back to 2010 when people were like, okay, another Halo, another Gears, another Forza. All right, what are the new exclusives? And then X1 jumped, created, okay, Skype, fucking TV. Okay, we could check fantasy sports scores on an Xbox. That was all Don Matrick. That's all him. He did that shit. That was all him. And then he left for and they fired his ass.
Yeah, because he sucked. Yeah. That's something I wanted to throw in because like when Don Matrick, when he made those dumbass decisions that burned a lot of bridges with Xbox fans, that's what made them go to the other side. And that's when Sony decided, throw a shot at Microsoft because of that, because it was Don Matrick's fault.
Diametric, yeah, I don't like Diametric at all. Not as a person, and when I mean like, I'm like person. I'm just saying he hurt the brand. He's the one that hurt the brand.
Yeah, you're talking about as from a business standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. From a business standpoint, Diametric hurt the Xbox brand. He had a horrible vision, you know. And the funny thing is, Peter Moore set the blueprint. He says this is how you compete against Sony, and he showed it, and he did it. Yeah, he showed the world. If you want to compete against a PlayStation, this is how you do it. It's about the games. It's about the relationship. It doesn't matter if a game doesn't sell 3 million. You have to make sure you attract the PS2 gamers, the PlayStation gamers. If you don't do that, you're going to lose them. And that's exactly what happened with Xbox One. Because a lot of people think that the Xbox 360 was nothing but 360 gamers. Like, no. The OG Xbox only sold about 23 million. The 360 sold almost 85 to 90 million. Majority of those 360 gamers were PS2 gamers. But the reason why they went to 360, because they were still getting the games they love. They were getting JRPGs. They were getting Japanese support, Japanese fighters. They were getting the exclusives used to, the Devil May Cries, the Grand Theft Autos, the Final Fantasies. They're getting everything that they're used to, right? Now you go to Xbox One, no JRPGs, barely any indies. The multiplats got exclusive content on the PS4, right? They're not used to this. They're like, wait a minute, this is not the I'm not used to this. I'm not used to owning a console where I can't play JRPGs or Japanese games or fucking a console with only one fighter. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm not used to
That's why a lot of people stood with the 360. That's why a lot of people stood with the 360 and went with PlayStation 4 because they had that.
Exactly. Like, even I was a perfect example. He's like, yo, it's crazy that I'm still playing my 360 because he wasn't used to what Xbox was giving him. They wasn't giving him what he was used to having. When you play on 360, you're used to having shitloads of fighters because 360 had all the fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
It had JRPGs. It had a lot of Japanese games. It had all the multiplats, had extra content. This is what they're used to. And the Xbox One didn't.
And Diametric got rid of all that shit.
Diametric caused that shit. Because his focus was on goddamn making. He was focused on making. He was focused on turning Xbox into a multimedia device by keeping it a console device that does multimedia, if you know what I mean. He wanted to change the game and just create like a Matricom, media box or something. That's what he wanted the Xbox to be.
Well, it worked because guess what? It worked because a lot of people that claim they're gamers, you find them always on media player and social media all the time. You never see them gaming.
Yeah, it worked. It attracted them, but what didn't work was the sales. The console, it's not pushing the numbers. Sony right now at the PS4, it's going past, and I didn't think this would happen, but it's surpassing PS2 metrics. It's selling faster than PS2, and it's selling more games. It's already at 400 million games sold. By the time December comes around, PS4 could be at 60 million consoles and 500 million software sales. Easily. 500 million software sales already. That's a gaming console. That's what you strive for, Yeah. To me, this was over. In my opinion, I think this console was over. Nothing's gonna change.
It's been over.
Yeah,
it's been over. It's been over. But they don't want to let it go. The fanboys just don't want to let it go.
Yeah. So I don't think Scorpio's gonna do anything. The only thing Scorpio could do is attempt to right the wrongs for Xbox in the long term. Start fresh now, and then over time, people will have more confidence in the Xbox brand. 5 years from now. You
know what they need to. You know what they need to do.
Get
They need to.
Get games.
Get games. Besides get games, they need to take E3 and blow it out the fucking water with. Don't talk about the hardware. Blow it out the water with the games you're going to sell. What games are coming out? What we're going to do for you. Yes, it took us some time, but we got this for you. We got that for you. We got this for you. We got that for you. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It may be early 2018, but we got it. It's coming. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, that's what's crazy because everybody knows it. Even the people who aren't saying it, that's the expectation. Everybody's expecting Microsoft to blow E3 out the water.
They need to.
Because everybody knows it. Even the people who don't want to say it, we all know it. Even if you're a Nintendo dude, we all know Microsoft has to blow E3 out the water, and that's
they have to.
And that's a huge expectation because
it's the only way to redeem themselves.
They could fuck it up bad. They could totally fucking fuck it up. Think about it. They could totally fuck it up bad. You know, but the expectation is they need to blow it out.
They can.
They need to blow it out. And if that means you unveiling games that ain't gonna come out to 2019, so be it. But you gotta let the gamers know you have these developers busy on projects that are gonna come out.
We need
so they have to.
Microsoft needs to open up more gaming studios and stuff like that.
Or too busy on Twitter damaging.
Actually, you know what they need to do? They need to take what they got and run with it to start with, and get shit out there. And then work on get that money in, and then work on opening other studios. But right now, they need to work with who they got, what they got, and stop, excuse my mouth, farting around, and just get it done.
You know that's great. That's a great point. But here's the thing: who do they have? 343. They do Halo.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Turn 10.
No,
Coalition does Gears.
Okay.
Rare's doing
yeah.
and then that one studio doing Crack. They got nobody.
Yeah, because they still got
people don't understand. Here's one thing people don't. You know, everybody's talking about Sony, bro. Sony's the 4th largest publisher in the industry. Right?
Yeah.
They're the 4th largest publisher. There's only 3 publishers bigger than them. That's Activision, EA, and Ubisoft. And those 3 are made to support multi-platform devices, from phones to PC to consoles. Sony only supports their own programs. So to be the 4th largest publisher, supporting your own device, that shit is huge. Yeah. That's why they're able to develop multiple projects from various levels. You know, that's why they're able to put in money to develop Spider-Man, God of War, Days Gone, The Last of Us 2, Neo, while at the same time saying, hey, you know what? Make some games from VR, while at the same time saying, hey, that Gravity Rush, hey, that was pretty good on Vita. Hey, we're going to give you more money. Make it a console game now. Create Gravity Rush 2. You know, they have the people to do it.
Well, no.
Yeah, and they also have, people saying they're broke, okay? At one time, they were in dire straits, okay? We all know that because they sold off shit. Okay, we all know that. We don't even have to go there. But right now, what they're doing, even this year, and what they're going to be doing next year, they're going to recoup a lot of that shit by the sales because of what Microsoft's doing to themselves. So people are going to gravitate more for the games on Sony, and Microsoft ain't getting that, but they're going to pull Sony out of that hole they were in because they're coming up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, but they are. They're coming back, and they're going to say, listen, you thought we were done? You know what they're saying? Fuck you, we ain't done yet. We're going to do this. We ain't done. We got it going on. You play with your Scorpio, okay, which, unfortunately, you're playing with a Scorpio, but you got no games on it. We brought out the Pro, and we brought out VR, and we did all this other stuff. We at least got games for them.
Yeah.
We got games. So we're going to make some money. And then what they're doing is they're taking that money, and in the long run, it's going to help them because they're reinvesting it back, like Porter Rock was saying, and saying, okay, you did this for us. I want you to do something better. Here's more money. Yeah, take this money. Take this money. Hop to it. Come on. I need a game. I need this. I need that. They're on their asses.
Yeah, you could tell Sony's on that because look at how much projects they're putting big money behind. I mean, they gave Kojima a blank check, and this dude's hiring fucking Hollywood actors and this shit. This guy's going crazy. He got Guillermo del Toro. He has that dude from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Norman Reedus.
From Hannibal. Yeah, I can't even pronounce the other dude, the Dutch dude's name, whatever. But yo, this dude's going ham on fucking Death Stranding. And then you got Insomniac. They pretty much gave him a blank check. Where Insomniac themselves are saying this is the biggest production they've ever done. Right. On top of that, what surprised me, we got Horizon Zero Dawn coming out next month. Never would I have thought that Guerrilla could pitch to Sony, hey, we want to make an RPG. A company that only made Killzone and shit and Shell Shock, first-person shooters, are now making a third-person action RPG. And Sony's like, yup, you know what? Here's a blank check. In fact, create a new engine just for this game.
They're taking their money and letting these people be creative. They're letting them be creative.
Nope, they're doubling down on PlayStation. I always said this: Microsoft may have the most money, but Xbox One is not their number one priority with them. It's not. I don't think it's. Like I said, I don't even think it's that.
I don't think it is either.
I don't
it's
think
PC,
it's top 5.
it's Windows. Yeah, it's Windows. It's PC. It's the cloud. Yeah,
I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think Xbox is the highest. Is even in the top 5 priorities for Xbox. I think it's like top 10.
but there's other projects that are more important. I mean, you can even tell. Like I said, I'm assuming, you know, because Beam is another portion of Microsoft. But if they're forcing the Xbox to use Beam instead of thinking of Xbox first and be like, you know what, we're making Beam, but we understand that if we want Xbox to be successful, it needs YouTube integration. So go ahead, continue.
Well, there are some people who say that they don't mind Beam. Okay, but give us an option.
The Xbox fanboys.
But what I'm saying is, give us an option.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
but think about who's saying.
How many options? Wait a minute. But wait a minute. How many options do we have on PlayStation?
Oh shit, it's fucking ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. PlayStation's giving you the option to do what you want.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, you could put Beam on there. I'm not saying not do that, but give us an option. Put YouTube on there as well. Twitter, YouTube, Beam, whatever else you want.
Yeah.
I don't get Daily Motion just like PlayStation. I don't care.
Yeah, I shut down some of those YouTube, you know, those Xbox fanboys, the hardcore fanboys on YouTube that say that because they're saying, "Oh, we don't mind, you know, Xbox using Beam and not YouTube." And I'm like, bro, you just said on YouTube you don't mind your console on your YouTube channel doesn't use YouTube. That doesn't make sense. You're on YouTube on your YouTube channel saying you don't mind Xbox doesn't use YouTube.
Yeah, but understand YouTube is owned by Google, and Google and Microsoft they're at each other's throats. They're fighting for a lot of the same stuff within
Google.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the gamers? We didn't buy a console.
Well, it's simple. You're basically saying one of the things is that we don't want our gamers on our competitors' platforms. That's what they're saying. So we're going to create our own platform so that you can go ahead and do it. I think it's silly. I think they should just, manage it out. It's a business decision because YouTube is huge. What did they say? They upload 1 million videos a minute or something like that, or uploaded to YouTube. Yeah. But that's what it's coming down to, is that Microsoft and Google are competitors. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's why when I had my Xbox, I was like, how come I can't live stream to Google or to YouTube? I don't.
But you know what's crazy? Hey guys, you know what's crazy? They're saying the people that kind of know about Beam saying it's like, Twitch. Okay, well, Twitch lags a lot. Twitch tell you to dumb down your videos so you don't get the lag and all that other shit. So I got to dumb down my video when I live stream so it looks like shit in order to live stream. No, I'm not doing that. YouTube don't ask me to do that.
Yeah, they're asking you, the content creator, to take a hit. And I don't blame you for doing that. No, that's
listen, yeah. I don't even do this for money. When I stream and I put up my shit, I do it just because of a love of gaming. But there are people out there that actually do this for a living.
Yeah, those donations and stuff.
But they do this shit for a living. So you're asking them to dumb down their shit, which then nobody after a while ain't gonna want to watch. They're not gonna want to watch it.
Nope.
They're not. So they lose money. So you billionaire companies can get richer, but you're going to let somebody just trying to earn a living get poorer. Fuck you. Excuse my mouth, but fuck you. No. Take that shit somewhere else, because that's not right. That's not right. And that's what it seems like. We want to be richer, and you just stay status quo or lose a couple dollars because you don't need it. We do. Shit, you're fucking billionaires. Shut up. You don't need shit. Stop playing.
Like, corporate greed. What you expect?
Yeah, true. I
mean, there's something I want to throw in, like, like Porter Rock. Yeah, because with Don Matrick, after he got bounced, here comes Phil Spencer. He basically had to clean up Don Matrick's mess, but basically, I mean, he did some things to turn things around. I mean, I give him credit for that, but I just need him to do better this year. I mean, that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I think Phil is, like I've said before, and I mean this, I'm willing to give him the chance because the Scorpion is his baby, or is it Scorpion or Scorpio? It's
Scorpio.
Scorpio, okay, it's his baby. So let's see what he can do. I agree with you 100%, Porter Rock. It was a Ferrari. it became a Pinto, and I'm talking about a Pinto with a hole in the bottom of it, and window won't come down, and all that kind of stuff. Order your fast food, but yeah, I think Microsoft in 2015, and I've said this before, 2015 Black Friday, whatever they needed to do, they did. They shook loose. They moved a lot of consoles in 2015. They've had good sales since then, monthly sales. It's just not, when compared to Sony. I mean, Sony's a freight train. You got to get out of its way. Like you were saying, Porter Rock, they're encroaching or selling better as good as the PS2, and that was a juggernaut. I mean, that was a juggernaut on its own. It's like its own street. And but I'm willing to give Phil, I won't even say the benefit of the doubt, because I'm still pissed out about the whole scale-bound thing. I mean, I'm irate about that.
Why you got to reopen rules, man? I don't
want to go over that again. But hopefully at E3, kind of like Titanfall Princess was saying, and I think Porter Rock's right on, when I think deep down they're really the Xbox fanboys, okay, not the Xbox fans, the people that don't need any validation. You go to the store, you be a man, you buy it, that's validation enough. I'm talking about the fanboys. They're really worried about if they don't do great at E3 and Sony comes out and shows God of War, Spider-Man, and they announce some kind of deal, the Uncharted thing. They come out this game after game, Days Gone, and then they not only show the games, but they have announced dates. It may be Katie bar the door. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. The more games, the better. But so I'm rooting for Phil Spencer and his big head. So hopefully he can get it done.
Put it this way, what you just said, I want Microsoft to do good, because in this, first of all, I don't hate Microsoft, and people think I do. No, I don't. I just hate what happened. I have all the consoles.
Yeah.
Okay, I have all the consoles. Okay, I have all Microsoft consoles. I have Nintendo consoles. I have all the PlayStation consoles. I have Dreamcast. I got all that shit. I even got 2 GameCubes still in my house with the games. Okay, so come on, I got everything. All right, so I want to do it because in this industry you need healthy competition, because if you don't, and somebody falls down by the wayside, what's going to happen is the other one is going to get a big head, and they're going to be like, well, I don't have to do much because the competition is shit. So I can lay back now, just relax, just give them some mediocre shit. No, you need healthy competition. And that's what people don't get. I want all of the consoles to do well. So we have healthy competitions, we get better exclusives on games, and then parties or whatever. I don't care, get good third parties, get good multiplats, and let them fight over whose console with the power has the better multiplat. Let's have competition. We need it. That's all I'm saying. You laughing, but it's true. We need that shit.
I just read your tweet. I'm sorry. I apologize. With Kids Move, and you said you got one video working on 1,500 dislikes. Holy shit! Holy shit, Princess, you crazy.
Wait, say that again. What was that?
No, you replied to Kids Move because I guess he tweeted out that he has a video with over 500 dislikes, and he's like, the fuck? And you replied to him that you had one that's almost at 1,500. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, you know why? Because people hate me.
Yeah, you tell the truth.
Because I tell the truth. Not only that, then you get the sock accounts who come in and they got like 50 sock accounts. They come in with each one and just dislike, or they rewatch the video every time and just say dislike. So you probably got only like 10 people making that because they got no goddamn life and they don't play games. And they can't stand that a woman knows. They can't stand that a woman knows more about gaming than their asses do. Because they're fanboys and they're stupid. And that is keeping it 100%.
But this one thing that's worse about it is just the fanboyism. It's just regardless of what system, it's beyond. Like I said, it's just running rampant. It's like, what is the point of damage control? Look, the damage is done.
It's about validation, Sinister.
Yeah,
it's about validation. They want validation for what they bought. That's why they will say one thing about Digital Foundry. They'll crap all over them. They don't care that Digital Foundry did a video today comparing the i5 and I think the i5, the mid-level chip to the i7, you don't hear them say anything about that. But boy, oh boy, they're going crazy because you guys brought up Resident Evil. Well, they showed the PC build, they showed the Pro build, they showed the PS4 build.
Yeah.
And guess whose build got the duty end of it? The Xbox One. Oh well, they're both in 1080p, but if they don't understand, Digital Foundry has machines looking for things like this, and they zoomed in at 200% to say, here's one of the differences between the Xbox One and the PS4. Well, if you can't simply say to yourself, I don't care what Digital Foundry says, I worked hard this week, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to buy the game, I'm going to put it in wherever my Xbox One is, and I'm going to play it and enjoy it, and not give a rat's ass what Digital Foundry says or IGN says.
Exactly. Thank you.
Who cares what they think? I mean, so they want validation. So it's not about the console anymore. It's about I'm going to go listen to somebody that's telling me what I want to hear. And I need to hear that the Scorpion is going to be the biggest, baddest machine on the block. I don't care that it doesn't have any games. I need to hear that how many AAA games that Sony release around the holidays, because I'm a grown-ass man and I'm going to sit on the couch and wait on Santa Claus to come down the chimney. I mean, what is it with the AAA games? Who cares what the AAA games are? Sony released last year Street Fighter V, MLB The Show, Little Big Planet, and Uncharted. They released 4 AAA games in 5 months. All they released on the other side was Quantum Broke, and then they were in a desert until I guess Gears of War, or maybe Ori came out. But the Ori came out, which is an indie, which they crap all over on that side. And Ori is actually a good game. That's
a good game.
Yeah, Rocket League.
It's a beautiful game.
They're crapping all over Rocket League, then they get the game. It's it's actually a pretty good game. So it's about validation. Yeah, it's about validation.
Thank you, because I said the same thing. Now, see, that wasn't my game, and I said even on PlayStation, even though I owned a PlayStation, I wasn't gonna buy it because it's not my type of game. I don't care if it comes to Xbox. I'm still not buying it, right?
Right.
And it was, and that was when I was on a podcast over a year ago, and I said that, and they're like, "Oh no," and they're talking shit about it the whole time. Well, for 3 months, these motherfuckers who hated the game on being on PlayStation, so they came to Xbox, they were playing it for 3 months straight.
Right.
Best game ever. Why? Because it's on Xbox now.
Yeah, and
Come on, guys, stop.
And there was an actual podcast and I forgot the podcast. It was about 6 months ago. There was an Xbox gamer on there, and he literally, I'm going to quote this guy. He said, it's a sense of pride to us when we have something that Sony doesn't have. Now, this is a grown-ass man saying this.
Oh,
all right, you talk like my 7-year-old child, okay? You got toys in your bedroom. She's got toys in her bedroom, though, Titanfall Princess, and she's worried about what Nicole across the street's got. Go ahead and don't worry about what she's got. Go appreciate what you have. You don't need Nicole to validate what you got. You got what you got. Go have fun with it. But that's that's the whole thing with the whole console thing, is that you got a group of people who are seeking validation and they're not getting it. That's why when Porter Rock was on that podcast last night, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is power. We're going to have more power. Digital Foundry is going to validate us. They're going to say, hey, we got the most power. And all these people are going to come like Moses parting the Red Sea because Battlefront's going to look better on this system. Call of Duty's going to look better on this system. And Porter Rock will always say, what about the exclusives? Oh, we don't care about exclusives over here.
See, that's the thing. You're right, Greg. Porter Rock ain't going to let them talk shit. Porter Rock is going to speak the motherfucking truth. He's going to bring out the facts. He's going to keep it 100 just like I do. And that's why people like all of us right here, right now, will get shit because we tell the truth. All of us on this podcast tonight. We tell the truth, we're going to get shit for it. So keep on preaching. Go ahead. Keep on preaching. Go ahead. I like what you're saying, Greg. Go ahead. Keep on preaching.
All right. Well, this again, when you're looking at validation, which is a psychosis that people look for, that's what triggers them. So when last night, I'm gonna quote Porter Rock because it was sensational, and I said this before we went live. When Porter Rock said the Xbox Scorpio is going to do a little bit more than the Pro. They went off for almost 45 minutes. Instead of just saying, you know what, hey, it's going to come out and do gaming, and if the white paper is correct, even Digital Foundry said it's still going to hit 4K. The guy literally said it's going to have more chances to do 4K native than the Pro will. That's not enough for them. It has to just be this monster machine that does everything and washes dishes and takes your kids to school and it cuts the grass for you and just
cuts the grass, vacuums the floor, mops the floor.
Does all this for you, and just it's just, and it's not all of them. Let me make that clear. Not all of them, because like you said, Titanfall Princess, you got an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not everybody. It's just a certain segment, and it's funny. But like Sinister said, it's just gotten to a point where it's out of control.
Yeah. And
I don't understand it because those people gotta they gotta fart to chew. The way I look at them. So
yeah.
So
well, listen, guys. If nobody has nothing else to add, does anybody have anything that they want to bring up that we didn't bring up before we end the podcast?
Nope.
Oh, pretty much it.
Porter Rock?
Nope, I got nothing. Time to play some games. Time to play some games.
Okay. All right, we're going to play games then. All right, guys, listen. We're going to do our outros now. We're going to start with one of my original members of my panel, which is Porter Rock 77. Do your outro. Tell them where to find you, Porter Rock.
Yeah,
you know that sound, everybody.
It's your boy Porter Rock 77. Check out my channel, Porter Rock 77. Hit me up on Twitter. Every Wednesday, got the 60 Frames No Like podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern. Of course, the Princess is on that podcast as well. I'm gonna have to recruit some new. I got HP, and I'm gonna have to find some new members because I think Video Theory is ducking us. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't know. I'm gonna need a pro Xbox dude. So any of you pro Xbox YouTube channels, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be down with a podcast, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to diversify. My channel is all about the First Amendment rights of gamers. Respectfully, but preach your opinions. You know what I'm saying? We all here to conversate and have fun. But anyway, Princess, another great podcast. I love being part of this panel member. Sinister, Craig, hey, it's awesome that you two guys were here. Great conversation, great opinions. Let's go.
I love the horn. Love it.
Remember that sound? That's Porter Rock sound.
That's right.
Porter Rock sound. Come on now. Next gen, don't steal it. We love you, dude, but don't steal it. Okay. Then let's see. Who wants to go next? Let's do Craig Harris and his pet rocks.
Yeah, this is guys, it's Craig Harris. I've got a little short podcast, Craig Harris Talks Games. I appreciate the invite. Princess, thanks again for letting me come in here and chop it up with you guys. Sinister, first time meeting you. I'll definitely have to follow you on YouTube. And Porter Rock, been a fan for a long time. Keep preaching the truth. And thank God there's other people out there that put games before all the other stuff. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite. And I like adding to the conversation. I had a good time. Thanks for having me on, Princess.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Last but not least, we got Sinister Tar Heel. Tell them where to find you, Sinister.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Sinister here. I enjoy the podcast with Princess and also you, Porter Rock and Chris. I appreciate you can find me on the YouTube, that Sinister Tar Heel. You can also find me on the Xbox and PS4, like all my gamer tags it'd be on my page, and just enjoy, discussing games, just the thing I have like on my intro is when gameplay matters.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, one thing I want to say, y'all know who I am. This is Titanfall Princess. Please, guys, everybody here, first of all, hit the like button. Go check out everybody's channels. They all got good shit to say. Most of the people I have on are multi-console owners. They mean PC people as well. They all have them. Check out the channels. They talk facts. Just give them the respect. Don't listen to fanboys. Listen to the people who tell you the truth. Don't put blinders on. Open your eyes, see the truth, hear it, and then make a decision for yourself based on the motherfucking facts. Okay, guys? It's Titanfall Princess. I'm signing out until next Friday, but I will see you on Porter Rock's podcast on Wednesday. Have a good night, everybody.